Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coldborough Park Farm, where today we're going to be ploughing. The reason we're going to be ploughing is because the only two jobs I can do at the moment are ploughing and cultivation. We did cultivation last time. We have the Claas Ariane 800 in field 9 doing the cultivation there. And we are driving the New Holland T7 Blue Power in field 5, and we're gonna plough this up and hopefully get field 4 ploughed up as well today. That is kind of the plan. Whether or not we manage to stick to the plan is a different matter. So hopefully this is... Plough is facing the wrong direction. Always a good start. I do believe this is a land plough. Oh no, it's not. It's a... I wonder if you have to drive into the furrow. There we go. So the reason we're cultivating up what look to be perfectly good, or ploughing up perfectly good fields of corn, because all this corn is withered. Seasons withered the corn pretty much immediately. Because it wasn't seeded at the right time of year in the right conditions. Corn has to be seeded in the springtime. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to get out and hopefully close the gate without smacking the tractor. So let's see how this goes. And I smacked the tractor. Magnificent. So now we need to flip the plough. Get this into the field. And get ploughing once again. So ploughing isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it does give me a chance to talk about the Coon DLC. I've kind of unintentionally planned this. Brilliant. So the Coon DLC was announced today, Tuesday, February 7th. I know this is going up tomorrow, Wednesday the 8th. But for me it was announced today. Officially, finally. And I pretty much covered everything that was in it. Yeah, Giants... Sorry about the head tracking moving about a bit. Wasn't sitting... Still not sitting quite right on my head. There we go. Giants were fairly predictable, and actually... There were a couple of surprises for me as well. So, in the Coon DLC, we're gonna get a few cultivators, most of them 4 meters, a couple of seeders, and a frontal seed tank, which is nice. That's something we haven't had in the game before. A new sprayer set. It basically looks like a color swap of the Amazon and the mid-size sprayer in the game already. We're gonna get a bale wrapper. I'm not gonna call it a square bale wrapper, because if you watch the promo video, which I'll have a link to one of them in the description if I was going to say if I can find one. I'll have a link to one in the description. If you look at the promo video, it does show wrapping round bales, and it also shows something I'll be very happy about. Pink wrap! Pink wrap! So that is me particularly happy, because I get my pink bale wrap on square bales, if I really want, or on round bales that aren't going to be tipped up in a weird way. There's also the combi baler, which I actually predicted the exact model, because I had a look at their fixed bale chamber balers. And there were 2 combi balers. The iBio didn't look like it was going to be a good option for Giants, so I thought they'd do the one that they are doing. And when you're trying to guess DLC, here's the thing: you look at what the company has, and then you try and guess based on what makes sense within Farm Sim. How did I miss that again? But the combi baler, that's something I'm particularly looking forward to, as well as the bale wrapper. There's also square baler, which honestly does look pretty nice. Do I have create fields turned on? Yes, I do. Must have pressed that by accident at some point. It looks like a good DLC. I obviously will be buying it. I actually already have it pre-ordered off Giant's website. So what I'll do is I'll get the idiot roller and pay me idiot tax to fix that small section up there, because that is a bit too close to the hedging for me to be able to work it properly. What I'd like to do, and I might do this, is get some old equipment, some proper old small equipment to work these fields. So maybe a trailed harvester or something like that would be nice. I do have one, so it's just a case of buying it in the game. Let's see, which way do I want the plow to be facing to do this bit here? The other direction. Ow! Just punched my gear stick. We're missing a tiny bit, but that's fine. I can get that later on. We are making decent enough progress through this field. I mean, I've been recording for about 7 minutes. Some of which was getting the wheel set up correctly, because Logitech doesn't seem to like it occasionally, and I don't know why, just doesn't seem to turn on the profiler correctly, which is a bit of an annoyance, but not that big of an inconvenience. It's just a case of opening up the profiler and getting it calibrated the way that I like, which takes all of about 10 seconds, but it's a, you know, little pain that is unnecessary. I have fixed the controls after yesterday's minor issue. Let's spin the plow around. For those of you wondering, I am using drive control, but I'm not using soft gas, because I don't like using soft gas with my pedals, because it doesn't make sense to me. Soft gas is something that really is for, I think, keyboard and controller players, because with these pedals I can, you know, this is me using the pedal to back up, and I'm just keeping it a nice low RPM of, does it show me the RPM at all? No, but I was going, you know, I can go forwards at, if I can just get this right, 0.5 kilometer an hour. Or, you know, less than a kilometer an hour if I really want to. So, soft gas is something I always have turned off in drive control. I know some of you guys like soft gas. I know it annoys a lot of you guys because it's very slow. But it is for the conditions where you want to go slow. Like, that's the entire intention behind it, is it slows you down so you don't just rocket off if you make a mistake. Especially, this is why I use a wheel, by the way, is because I can keep the speed nice and low to about 5 or 6 kilometers an hour while I am hitting into the gate, while I'm turning in the field like this, and then just ramp the revs up and get going at a good speed of 15 kilometers an hour, which is maybe a bit fast to be ploughing. I mean, realistically I'd probably be ploughing at somewhere in this region of a speed, if not maybe this kind of region where it's relatively slow, but I don't mind doing a bit of speed ploughing. damaging the mold boards and 3-point probably, but it does make for better video. Let's get the plow back in, and off we go once again. Somehow I've managed to make it so that I have to plow in a curve, so I'm just gonna drive as straight as line as I can across the field here. It's not very straight, but it'll do. It's not at all straight, but it'll do. It's a lot less curved than the line I was using. So what I'll do here is I'm gonna be a bit cheeky. I'm gonna go back up. Need to free the plow. Whoa! Go back up this way here. And by doing this, it'll cut the curve down. In theory. In practice, it's just going to make things worse for me, because I'll now be plowing into a segment that I don't really want to plow into. The joy of it, though, is that I don't need to turn the plow for the next few minutes while I just clean up, basically, what I've just made a mess out of. So let's get this spun in like that. There we go. And relatively good plan there. Let's get right up into the tree. Because this is so short, I'm just gonna go up and I'm just gonna reverse back over the plowed area. That said, you can't really reverse forward. How is the Axion doing? Because I haven't seen it in a while. Let's have a check. Please tell me it's not just going around in circles. It does look like it's going around in circles. What is the Axion actually doing? It is actually working. Good. This is the second attempt at getting it to work on Courseplay, and there was an issue with the first attempt where it would just start going around in circles. So let's see what exactly it does here, because that's way too wide a sweep. Is it going to line up in reverse? It's going to line up in reverse by the looks of it. Let's just have a quick look. So it's lined up. And it's reversing. Ah, that's very smart. Well done, Courseplay. That's actually ingenious. Also, I am using the Clark C80D forklift, which I'm just gonna move this into the parking base here. The reason I haven't used this before is because it never worked with Courseplay. There was a flat conflict with Courseplay and it just wouldn't work. Where is me? Blue power. There we go. Looks like we won't get field 4 done as well today, but if we can get field 5 done and fully plowed, I'll be pretty happy. You can see we got 25,000 pounds. That's pretty much because of... It is going down because I do have Courseplay set to use money. It's pretty much because I sold off the skid steer I had at the shop, replaced it directly with the Clark. That was always the intention of the skid steer, was just to act as a forklift until I could get a proper forklift. And because the Clark now actually works in my game, because Landy and I both realized there was a flat conflict with Courseplay, we managed to get it to work well, Landy managed to put in a bug report with Courseplay devs and got it sorted out. So I'm using one of the more up-to-date versions of Courseplay for once. If you do want to use the Clark forklift, by the way, you have to use point version, as I ignore all the zeros. I'll just give you the last two numbers, 67 or higher. Version 67 or higher of the dev Courseplay for 17 will give you access to the code lines that you need for the Clark forklift to work. Among probably some other things. So let's get this. I know I should be really lifting the plow, but I just want to get this quasi headland done as easily as I possibly can. Like that. And there's actually a roller pack I keep meaning to buy and test out, so I'll download first and then test out for the grass, because I don't like using. I don't really like using fertilizer on grass. In real life, it's rolled. Yes, there is fertilizer put on it, but I'd much prefer to have to roll it. There we go. And just flip the plow real quick. The reason that I'm flipping the plow, by the way, isn't for aesthetics. It's so that I can get the widest path through the crop that I possibly can. This is all going to get cultivated under, and I think it should, in theory, act as fertilizer, as green manure, which is awesome. I do need to also get a shovel up to Yetton Ridge for the Steyr, which I may get rid of, because the TS should, in theory, be a better tractor for that job of just taking care of the animals and looking at the animals. The TS 115 should, in theory, be a better vehicle for doing that. Let's get this plowed in. A little trick I'm using is I'm just keeping the outer wheel just outside the crops, and that seems to be a good ploughing width. I say as I completely miss that one plant. There we go. So now I've got a headland, which means I can just go up and down the crop, basically. Let's drop the plow. Outer wheel just to the outside of the crop, and we should, in theory, be good. Yep, perfect. I am going to actually cut a second headland up here, just because it is quite tight and there's some trees. So, I know that there's not much left to plow, but an extra headland is always nice. Especially when it comes to a tight little area like this. Anything that I need to be particularly worried about going up that way? Let's actually cut both ways. Let's just do some ploughing as if this isn't a reversible. Because it should, in theory, require less turning. And be ever so slightly faster. And we will be able to actually start Field 4 today. Just looking at the elapsed time of the video. And I know that you guys maybe aren't so happy that I'm only able to do really one job per video, but they are jobs that need to be done, and we will be getting some hay or silage or baling done very, very soon. Because day 3 of autumn is when I will be dealing with the grass. And that is when things will happen. That is when we'll be able to make some silage bales and sell them off and get the money, and make some silage bales and sell them off and get the money, and buy a new field and make some silage bales and sell them off. In theory, at least. In practice, I'm not too sure how well that's going to work. But if I can afford more grass fields, this is the plan. This is the plan that I have. Is if I can use the grass fields to buy more grass fields, then I can use the extra grass fields that I buy to buy more crop fields. And then use the crop fields to buy bigger equipment. So I'm not being an idiot in trying that. And I know Sandy Bay will be out relatively soon. Possibly as early as next week. Because basically the big hold-up is Giants are focusing on the DLC and patch 1.4, which may or may not have dropped by the time this video goes out. All this week's videos are going to be recorded on patch 1.3 because I'm recording them today. It's Tuesday, I'm recording videos, it's my recording day, so patch 1.3 is going to have effect on all these videos, and there may be some stuff that has changed, so yeah. Seasons may also now be broken, which I hope the Realismus guys are aware of that. I want to give them a shout out actually, because Realismus Modding, you are doing a fantastic job with Seasons. It is such a game-changing mod that it is difficult to play without it. I actually can't play without Seasons now. Gonna be honest, the way that you have to play with Seasons feels so kind of natural and right that it doesn't make sense to play without. Because the way that I've always played is kind of, I seed all the fields, I harvest all the, fertilize all the fields, I plow all the fields, or harvest all the fields, plow all the fields. And with Seasons, that's the way the game forces you to play. That's the way the mod forces you to play. Whereas without Seasons, you can just have fields doing whatever you want the fields to be doing. I can actually reverse here and just grab that little bit at the end that I missed. So, actually looks like we won't get field 4 started because I'm faffing about here too much. Which kind of sucks. But that's the way it be. This T7 with a plow on the back is an amazing beast. I did actually have to refuel it, by the way, because it's, it's using up all of its fuel in kind of a 6-hour cycle, and it's got 6.5 hours on it. It wasn't really low on fuel, but it was low enough to the point where I felt I could do with some more fuel into it, so I gave it a bit of a top up. Also, you'll notice that these tractors are going to gain hours very, very quickly because they're pretty much always working. And, oh yeah, this is something that if you only watch the videos you don't know. The 6030 John Deere has been directly replaced by the Class Axion 800. The reason that I've replaced the 6030 with the 800 series Axion is, number one, the Axion's got more power, and number two, in real life, Coldborough Park Farm does use a lot of class tractors. So I'm trying to keep the tractors at least to a realistic brand. And hopefully I can swap out some of the stuff to be Kverneland once the DLC drop. Or, oh yeah, it's Kverneland they use, not Kuhn. So yeah, I can't swap out some of the other stuff to be more realistic. The harvester they use in real life is a case, or at least was. It's roughly the same size as the Massey, roughly speaking, so I'm not too far from realistic with that. However, the seeders and cultivators and everything they use are about 3 meters, so I am having to break with realism for the sake of gameplay and for the sake of Basically keeping you guys vaguely entertained. Because while I would love to play with 3-meter equipment on this map all day, and if ever I do an off-camera save on this map, I will be doing it, and I'll be using Courseplay fairly heavily, with Claas Axion 600 series tractors. Well, it wouldn't be Axion 600 series, they're Arians. It's not exactly great for YouTube, is it? So, the plan is that I'm just going to get as big equipment as I can, and as many fields as I can as this goes on. And this is a save game that's never going to be deleted. If I want to return to Coldborough at some point in the future, I will just reload up this save game and swap out mods as necessary. I know I just went through the hedge, deal with it. Let's get up here and into field 4 at the very least. Which the gate should be open. The gate is open. Like I said, this is why I use wheel and pedals, is so that I can just crawl around the map effectively. Actually, yeah, let's do it like this. There we go. But that is going to be it for today, guys. I'll finish Field 4 possibly off camera, possibly in a stream. It depends on what happens. I'll leave you by saying I've been Rainbow Dave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 17 on Coldborough Park Farm. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. And do leave your comments below what you want to see on the channel in the future. There is some stuff that I have planned. There is some stuff that I'll need to work towards in game, not in, well, in real life too, but there's some stuff that I'd like to work towards and some stuff that I'm trying to find mod wise, so that should be interesting if and when I can find the mods that I want to get the full experience going, kind of, and the full plans for the channel going. But until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.